if I'm not mistaken, I'm going to be able to hit. I'm just going to do a test run really fast.
Test run. Really fast.
So I'm just going to keep talking like this. I want you to keep talking like this.
I'll keep talking just like this.
Yes. This is cool. So now we have our own separate tracks.
Oh,
so now
wow.
we can literally mix them separately.
Ooh. As you cough yourself to death. Don't die. Have a sip of tea. Yeah, just a little bit of space. There we go. I wonder if the people live realize that we're
That song.
Yeah, I love that beat. That beat is so much fun.
If you guys are not tired of us, if you guys are tired of us saying that, too bad.
And if you're wondering if you're watching us on live stream and you're wondering why we're dancing and not saying anything and there's no music, that's because there is music. You just have to listen to the podcast.
Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Do we really have to keep repeating this?
I mean, it's always good to make sure that they understand that they should like, subscribe, rate, 5 please, and share the podcast. Because we are the Disc Dungeon, and we are here to put you on to music and the deep, dark processions of your computer disc.
Well, guys, today's episode 7.
We've made it 7 episodes, and I'm super excited, and I thank you for taking this journey with me into music worlds. Far beyond that of which I expected to hear, and I'm sure, especially this week, far beyond what you expected to hear.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what you're saying, but I'm just gonna nod along.
Yeah,
and say yes.
Yes, we are new.
Yes,
indeed.
Well, guys, we have another episode for you today,
and we're excited.
As always, 4 sections, and the first section is
"Let Me Put You On."
Limpollo. For those.
Sounds like a rice dish.
Yo, like a limp pollo.
Like a chicken. Yeah.
So instead of sweaty chicken, instead of pollo sudado, we got limp pollo.
Limp pollo.
This is that chicken that just
it's just limping around.
Oh my god. Sorry, guys. Let's get to it. Let me put you on. So last week we had a couple conversations, and a big topic was religion.
Because of Madonna.
Yeah. Like a Prayer. If you guys remembered last episode's Tricks of the Keys, if you didn't, go ahead and listen to that.
Catch up.
So my recommendation was To Pimp a Butterfly by Kendrick Lamar.
That was fantastic.
Okay.
So I guess I'm going to start this riff off by saying Wesley's Theory is the greatest thing on that album, hands down.
Okay.
All right. I liked everything. I especially loved. Now this is a little bit vulgar, so make sure the kids aren't listening. This dick ain't free.
His dick ain't free.
This dick ain't free.
He says that a couple times.
Right? It's more than a couple. Yeah. And I'm going to jump into the fray of Ken Lamar. Mm-hmm. I actually have a really quick story. So, I used to work in the building that Rock Nation was in. And, I had frequent what-ups with Jay-Z. I mean, he doesn't know who the fuck I am, just a reminder to the folks listening. But we do have a, "What's up, man?" where we nod at each other. So if I saw him and "What's up, man?" he would, "What's up, man?" me back. And that's a fun thing.
That's validating.
Yeah, it's validating. I felt good about it. Most people are like, "Oh, yeah, Jay-Z." And I'm just over here like, "What's up?" Yeah. Anyway, so Kendrick Lamar was in the hallway, the big grand entrance of the building. And I didn't know who he was. Typical me. There's so many famous people that I walk by every day here in Manhattan. And because Manhattanites are jaded by this type of non-struck experiences, that we're just like, meh. And then he walked by, and I saw his hair stood out. That's what stood out for me, because he had like a really cool like setup and stuff that I always go, man, I wish I could do that. But I saw him. He was heading up to the elevator. I had to go drop some shoes off, and I'm like holding on to shoes as if they really mattered. But at the time, I'm just like, whatever. And I rode the elevator with him, and then he was iced out, I guess you call it. Is that what they say these days?
Yeah,
he wears some jewelry.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, you going to Rock Nation?" Because I just love to talk to people in the elevator. Like he could have been like, "No, nigga, I'm gonna go and give this food to somebody." Like he could have. I don't know what he would have been, but I was
just not responded at all.
Yeah, or he could have just said "fuck up," like. But I just am a friendly dude, and I say hello to everybody. I don't care if it's the janitor or the CEO. I'm going to talk to everybody equally. So I just said hello, and he said hi back, and that was pretty much the end of it. And I got off the elevator, and then 2 minutes later, yo, Kendrick Lamar's in the building? I'm like one of the security guards, and I'm like, who? Kendrick Lamar. You just rode with him in the elevator. We saw you on the camera. What did you say to him? Oh, I was just like, hello. Yo, you don't know who that is? Nope. And then Julian decided to say, let me put you on to Kendrick Lamar. And I'm like, well, this has gone full circle.
It usually does, doesn't it?
That's how it goes.
That's how it goes. No, I mean, that's that I don't really have a lot of celebrity encounters because I am the type of person who just feels completely awkward going up to them and saying hi. So I just googly eye them. And I ran into Andre 3000.
Oh wow, I would recognize him immediately because I like him, and I'd be like, oh my god.
Yeah, in Soho, he was just walking by, decked out, like fucking. He's always got drip.
Yeah,
that's what it's called.
Oh, that's what it's called now.
It's called drip. And I just kind of watched him, across the street and like a creeper, and just walk across town and walked away.
Oh wow,
that's it.
And he walked away.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go.
But talk to me about this album.
All right. So let's get into it.
Said his dick ain't free.
This dick ain't free.
Okay.
I really enjoyed that one. It was very poetic. It was definitely spoken word type throwdown, and I really appreciated that throwback to that particular style of music. You don't hear that often anymore, so I really enjoyed that. But I'm going to jump into this. So Kendrick Duckworth is Kendrick Lamar's real name.
For those of you who
Woo! Duckworth. He's an American rapper, songwriter, and music producer. He is regarded by many critics and contemporaries as one of the most important and influential rappers of generation, and as one of the greatest rappers of all time. Now, do you feel like he's the greatest rapper of all time? Just a sidebar.
All right, so I don't subscribe to that. Like I will never say anybody is the best rapper of all time because that's a box, and I don't like boxes.
Okay.
But he's definitely one of the greatest of
he's very good. Yeah, I can hear it.
Hands down.
So Lamar embarked on his musical career as a teenager under the stage name of K-Dot, releasing a mixtape that garnered local attention and led to his signing with the indie record label Top Dog Entertainment. He began to gain recognition in 2010 after his first retail release, Overly Dedicated. The following year, he independently released his first studio album, Section 80, which included his debut single, High Power. By that time, he had amassed a large online following and collaborated with 7 prominent hip-hop artists, including The Game, Busta Rhymes, and Snoop Dogg. Had no idea he linked up with those two.
Yeah, I mean, he.
Oh, is he related to Snoop? Because Snoop seems to be related to everybody.
When he got signed to Def Jam Records. Not Def Jam. What's
Death Row?
Death Row Records, I think it is. Whatever Dr. Dre's record label is.
Oh no, I think that's something.
So Dr. Dre is Snoop Dogg, is Compton, is all of that. Yeah. So yes, 100% he was affiliated with all of them.
It makes a lot of sense now. Yeah. Lamar's major label debut album, Good Kid, Mad City, was released in 2012 by TDE, Aftermath, and Interscope Records to critical acclaim. It debuted at number 2 on the U.S. Billboard 2000 and was later certified platinum by the RIAA. The record contained the top 40 songs: Swimming Pools, Dank, Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe, and Poetic Justice. His critically acclaimed third album, and which is what you put me onto, To Pimp a Butterfly, in 2015, incorporated elements, and this is what I'm grateful for, funk. I love the funk. I've been sucking on the funk's teeth since I was a boy.
I love the funk.
Gotta have that funk. Soul, jazz, and spoken word. It debuted atop the charts in the US and UK and a Grammy Award for Best Rap Album at the 58th ceremony in 2016. Lamar released Untitled, Unmastered collection of unreleased demos that originated during the record sessions Pimp a Butterfly. So the album is very explicit. A lot of N-words. I know I dropped one, but you know, I'm half black. So we are cultured AF. Just want to put that out there. Disclaimer, we cultured. I'm half black. Go ask my mama. So this was very fantastic, this album, though it was very explicit. It reminded me of the gangster rap stuff that my uncle used to listen to when I was a boy.
Mm.
So that was like a nice throwback, but it wasn't as violent. You know, it was just kind of like your general love and type of I'm gonna pimp your ass type of stuff that I anticipated that I would be. It had political undertones, especially in my favorite song off this, a very funky and fun Wesley's Theory, as I mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm, you know, I love the bass, and this brought that bass funk. So this, I listened to that song more than a lot of other tracks on this album. Yeah, especially because the lyrics of this one really caught me. I had to look them up, and I did, and I'm going to read them for us all. Okay, I'm going to try to make it funky. I said the extremely white side came over. I'm gonna make this funky, guys.
I'm gonna make it funky.
I'm gonna make it funky. All right. When I get signed, homie, I'm gonna act a fool. Hit the dance floor, strobe the lights in the room, snatch a little secretary bitch for the homies. Blue-eyed devil with the fat ass money. I'm gonna buy a new caddy on Vogue's trunk hood up 2 times. Deuce foe, platinum everything, platinum wedding ring. Married to the game and a bad bitch choose. When I get signed, homie, I'm gonna buy a strap from the CIA and set it on my lap. Take a few M16s to the hood, pass them out on the block. What's good? I'm gonna put Compton sweat meat by the White House. Republican run-up, get socked out. Hit the prez with a Cuban link on my neck. Uneducated, but I got $1 million check. We should never gave you money. We should have never gave you money. I love that. You know, it's like, oh my God, you know how many times I've heard that growing up in my old town? Oh man, see, look how big they should have never gave them money. Like I've heard that phrase so often in my life. Okay. To actually hear it in music is like, yeah, he hit the money on that one. He definitely hit the money. He deep pulse on the reality of what's going on.
Yep. That's why I love
Kendrick. I'm gonna do one more lyric and I'm gonna set you off. What really hit me is this political undertone on the same song. What do you want? A house, a car, 40 acres and a mule, a piano, a guitar, anything I see. My name is Uncle Sam. I'm your dog, motherfucker. You can live at the mall. So it's like, to me, I interpreted that as like, all right, you guys think you've made it, but we still run the show. And he's very attuned to that reality.
Yeah, it's very much this whole the new slave, you know, Kanye about the new slaves. Yep. I mean, which I don't disagree. You know, there's slavery still very much going on, not only with like human trafficking and you know those types of conversations, those types of topics, but you know we live in it on a daily basis, especially here in America with capitalism. You know, capitalism is great, and it also has its dark side, and that's not for this podcast.
That's something else.
We might start something else. But anyways, before I head off, I definitely want to invite anybody to comment below, and you know, if there are some political topics that you think we should be touching on, you know, start that conversation.
Hey, and if you're listening to this on the podcast, make sure you stop by our YouTube page. That's tobescene.com, the number 2, BESCENE, and give us your thoughts. Hear the music that we've been listening to that we put each other onto in the links below. And then comment. Tell us what you think.
All right, guys. So my homework this week was a band called The Dead Can Dance. Dead Can Dance.
Dead Can Dance.
No,
the.
Dead Can Dance.
Dead Can Dance.
And I listened to an album called Spirit Chaser.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason for this recommendation was we got onto, you know, we were talking about Madonna as like a prayer. We were talking about religion and the sexual innuendos in her music, you know, in our Tricks of the Keys.
Tricks of the Keys.
And this was a very interesting album. I obviously, like as always, as every week, I don't know what I'm going into when I'm about to
Because my
listen.
music world is like,
Yeah.
whoo, yeah.
or just simply because I don't know the music.
Right. Yeah. It's the same with me. But
So the first five songs on this album were instrumental. And so Dead Can Dance, what they did is that they're using a lot of African elements in their music. You hear
cultured.
So again,
AF.
hence the title of the show. We're cultured AF.
Yeah.
And we have the privilege of living in a city like New York, where
melting fucking pot.
With the melting pot, and we see everything every single day. If you're not from New York, it's definitely it's a culture shock, because if you're living in, I don't know,
West Texas,
or just I don't know, Montana,
Kentucky.
Somewhere. Exactly. These are places where it's homogenous. I mean, you have pretty much the same thing going on. In New York, man, you're on one corner you're in Koreatown, on the next corner you're I don't know, you're just in a different part of the world.
Yeah.
One block away. So it was really nice to hear. It was really nice to hear all the elements they were using. I heard a lot of, I don't know. It transported me. I was in the jungle at times, and then I was out in the desert. I felt like I was hunting something, and it was great. And it wasn't until song number 4, "Song of the Dispossessed,"
my favorite song of that,
which is he's mentioned this to me like 10 times already. So I guess it's his favorite.
He's my favorite.
It wasn't until song number 4 that there was an actual main vocal where they were singing, some form of melody, or a Western melody, let's call it. And my thought on that was that it was interesting, because I had gone through 25 minutes of instrumental, because the songs are long, and I was vibing with it. But when that vocal came in, it was kind of like a sense of relief. Like there was this build up to this song, that then I was very attuned and very interested in what the artists were singing and what they were saying, simply because there was a lack of them.
Right. It's a shocker, because it's just so much instrumental. It's almost like a classical album until Brendan Perry, the lead singer, starts talking.
Which was
singing,
great. Which was great. And honestly, it makes me think about my own music, and it makes me think about, hey, maybe if I use instrumental music in the right way, it could enhance my message that I'm trying to get to people. Yeah. So I wrote a few notes down. I already spoke about the first one, which was the interesting notion of having, the album be 90% instrumental, and then a few vocals here and there. I love the fact that there's male and female vocals.
That nice split up is refreshing to the ear. I always like when groups do that. That's why I like the Faithless and Enigma and such.
Love it. I love it, because I think both the male and female voice are beautiful, and especially when they come together.
Yeah.
Let's see. I can't even read my own writing. So like I was saying, it reminds me of this Eastern religion, not necessarily Africa, but just Middle Eastern even, you know what I mean? Like this, the influences were definitely not of the West. And I also, I thought of the Lion King. I thought to myself, like, man, like this music could definitely be part of the Lion King instrumental. And I also thought of the Titanic, and I thought of Gladiator with Russell Crowe.
Oh, that's because the lead singer was featured in the movie Gladiator. It's her voice in the soundtrack.
Well, there you go.
There it is.
There you go.
It comes full circle.
It's always full circle. But see, that's what I mean. You know what I mean? All these elements, especially when the female sings, that's where it brought me back to, because the Gladiator, the one with Russell Crowe, that was
a huge movie.
That was one of my favorite movies of all time.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Are
you not entertained?
Are you not entertained? But
Roma Victor.
But it was more so if there's one vivid moment that I remember, that is always when her voice came in.
Oh yeah, when he's like dying and
and all those moments, and then that's kind of that's where this album brought me back to, which is a special place, because I love that movie,
right?
And
big connection,
and it is what it is, guys. But all in all, I definitely recommend a lot of instrumentals. So if you're into that, listen. If you're into listening to sounds that are not this typical mainstream sounds that you're used to listening to, check that out. And thank you very much for the recommendation.
Absolutely, absolutely. Dead Can Dance was formed in Melbourne, Australia in August 1981, with Paul Erickson on bass guitar, Lisa Goddard on microfilm, vocals, and percussion, Simon Monroe, Matching Girls on drums, and Brandon Perry as lead vocals. The reason why you're hearing so many different sounds from them is because The Dead Can Dance, as described by historian Ian McFarlane, constructed soundscapes of memorizing grandeur and solemn beauty through African polyrhythms, Gaelic folk, Gregorian chant, and Middle Eastern mantras, in culmination to be called art rock.
Whatever, man. Whatever it's called. But it was good. And to kind of segue into our next section, which is Music Saved My Life, I want to put you on.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah. So
let's put me on. I'm going to put you on because the funk that you brought that I had to suck the teat off of, I'm going to put you onto some funky funk.
Well, in this case, the spiritual nature is where I'm kind of bringing it full circle, because so I'm we're listening to these chants or listening to this music that's literally transporting me somewhere, and it reminded me very much of Jeff Buckley, and unfortunately Jeff Buckley died after his first album. So
that's terrible.
But he left us with
some fantastic music,
a masterpiece called Grace. The
album
is called Grace.
Okay.
So definitely listen to that. We'll talk about this next episode, but he may be speaking about religion in certain times, but you're gonna hear so many religious elements, sounds in his music. And even if those elements weren't there, his voice it speaks to my spirit. Hence why I need you to listen to it.
All right.
Because I think you'll get to know me a little better.
All right. Fantastic. I'm looking forward to it. It's been a fantastic music journey thus far, these 7 episodes. And I can't wait to be put on to some more. And I'm going to put you on because that album that you put me on to had so much slamming the bass that I tripped on it. You know what I mean?
You tripped a little bit?
I tripped a little bit. It's like, this is so much funk. I almost started dancing on the train. So I'm going to put you to something, it's not as funky, but it's got the funk.
It's got the funk.
It's got the funk. And that is the group. That is the group Fantagram. And the album I want you to listen to is Eyelid Movies. Okay?
That sounds very intriguing.
Yeah.
Eyelid Movies.
Eyelid Movies. They've got 3 huge songs that off their debut album that put them on the map. And we'll get into that group next week.
Cool.
It's one of my favorite modern groups. So this is even going to be more exciting because it's the first group that I've put you on to that's from the last 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, because everything's been like late 90s or early 2000s. Yeah, so.
Cool. All right, guys.
All right.
Well, that concludes our... Oh, whoa. Actually, I jumped the gun a little bit. Music saved my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, so... This is the moment to talk about this Jeff Buckley album that I'm putting you on. I guess there'll be a part 2 next episode, but
yeah,
there's a specific song on that album, and I'm gonna look it up right now. Give me 1 second, guys. Keep them entertained.
So while Julian's looking that up, I'm gonna put you guys on to Fantagram and what saved my life about them. Their music is kind of uplifting and rebellious, and when you're dealing with a combat against the man and some things that are beyond your control, this music gets you through because it pumps you up to come in during the day and master the funk that you're in. Go ahead, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Go for
it. He's literally just filling it in. But guys, there's a song on this album called "Lover, You Should Have Come Over."
Lover, You Should Have Come Over.
Right, and so this song, man. This is sometimes I feel like the English language or just language in general is just so inadequate at describing emotions and describing feelings. So I'm gonna do my best. Lover Should Have Come Over is it's just that, it's essentially it's a very powerful poem to this person that never came over.
Nope.
Right? But he's in love with her.
Well, his dick ain't free.
So he's in love with her, and he pours himself out, not only because he loves her, but he's also in pain because she never came
Yeah,
over.
she like ghosted his ass.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. And when you listen to the song, you realize that it's not necessarily that she ghosted him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to give too much. But during this time in my life, I was in college. I was, I was introduced to Jeff Buckley between ages of, I was like 18 to 20 around. That's when I was really fucking heavy with Jeff.
Okay.
I was emo as fuck back then. I was emo as fuck. So I listened to punk. I listened to the emo bands, but Jeff Buckley allowed me to be emo in such a romantic and
loving way.
Yeah, like it was he's telling you it's emo. It's emo in the sense that he's pouring his emotions out there. He's being raw. He's not holding back. He's using words that they're gonna cause you to they're gonna cause some imagery. But at the same time, it's his lyricism and the symbolism behind his words are amazing, and just the ability that he had to write and to put these images in your head was everything for me in college, man. I probably can say I have listened to that album on repeat over 100 times.
Wow. Okay, so this is going to be a segue to, not a segue, but an equation.
Okay.
All right. Jeff Buckley greater than less than Fantagram, as Fantagram equals to Kendrick Lamar, because though the funk and the message behind it, rebellious and true, also matched with Fantagram, because they've got music that they've got a line on that Eyelid Movies album on the song When I'm Small. And I discovered that album when I was going through the possibility of losing my employment at my previous job. And there's like nothing you can do if their time's up there. When an employee decides that you're an at-will of sort, anytime they decide, you're willfully unemployed.
Yep.
So, there's a line on that. So the first time that I had experienced this earthquake of unfortunate possibilities with employment was well long ago. I'm going to say like probably when this Fantagram first came out, actually. And I happened to be dating someone that I really wasn't into. This is how long ago that was. And there's a line in there in the Fantagram on the When I'm Small. It's towards the end. Once you hear it, you'll know it. And if you're a Fantagram fan and you know what I'm talking about, hey, what's up, Amy? Welcome to the chat room. I like the sunglasses. Thanks for.
Yeah. By the way, if you know the line, drop it as a comment.
Yeah. If you know the line, Amy, drop it. Drop it like it's hot. If not, you're going to find that line. You're going to hear it and you're going to be like, oh, because it's like every time I hear it, even though, I'm not experiencing that moment anymore, because it was after I broke up with the ex.
Yeah.
And I was doing that world of wondrous dating. And that line came up and I was like, you know what? This is so fitting, because it makes a lot of sense. I know I'm being very vague, folks.
We have to, because we got to leave something.
You got to come back and is Julian going to agree with my assessment of this song, or is he going to be like, yo, the funk was there, but that line, who cares? Or is Julian going to be like, holy shit, you were right?
It just happens. Part of this show is that we're brutally honest with each other, and sometimes our musical tastes our musical tastes don't match, and that's the beauty of music, actually.
Yep, it's all subjective. But yeah, I definitely want you to hear that. Cool. There's another song that's a little slow. It's called Mouthful of Diamonds. That's a fun one, but it's very slow. So just forewarning. They have a roller coaster album. They have songs that are just a little bit slower, melodic almost. And then they slap that bass and get real funky and bring you to a whole nother level and throw some lyrics on you that you're going to be like, oh. And this got me through a lot of BS when it came to the corporate world. So I highly recommend, for those of you that are ever going through anything, come and listen to Fantagram, because they'll get you through it. They'll give you that rebellious vibe to go against. Even if you work for the government, listen to Fantagram. They're going to give you that, you know what? We ain't going to take this. Trust me.
We ain't gonna take this. So guys,
then now that brings us to Behind the Beat.
Behind the Beat.
So we have now segues.
Guys, Behind the Beat is a section where we dedicate if we have a featured artist, this is the section where it'll be. And trust me, we're gonna have artists coming in for future episodes. In this case, we talk about the music that I'm currently working on, specifically this week. And to keep it all thematic, this spiritual energy, unspoken language that exists that a lot of us are uncomfortable with. That's actually what I want to bring to the forefront. And I had about 4 artists come in this week.
You were working.
Yeah, it was a busy week.
Midnight oil.
Yeah, man, I'm exhausted right now. But we got to get this episode out for you guys because we care about you.
Yep, don't worry, I'll keep those eyelids open.
So I had three artists. I had Elliot Major.
Oh,
Belissa with a B.
That's a cool name.
And Luna Late Bloomer.
Oh, that's very. Oh, these names are great.
Yeah. These are dope artists as well. So these 3 artists came in. This week was not their first sessions. Each of them have had either 1 or 2 sessions before. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because there's this unspoken language, and there's this. As a producer, you have to be attuned to mannerisms and to reactions, and really be in tune with what people are feeling, even when they're not verbally communicating something.
There's in the keys. There's tricks.
I think he's going somewhere with this.
And though you don't hear a word, there's music that's told in a language forbidden to the eye.
That and so the point of this is just to sum this up and make this nice and clean is that these artists came in. We worked on a song in our first session. We're going. They're telling me that they like the direction that it's going in, but you can feel something is off. At least I can feel something is off, maybe by what they're not saying, by how they're not reacting. And it's important as a producer to allow a space for the artist to make mistakes, to change their mind, to go a different direction. Because in my opinion, if you're a producer you're very strict, you don't want to waste time. You want to
time is money,
yeah, exactly. I mean, exactly. You don't want to waste your time, but that is also subjective because what is a waste of time? A lot of the things that we learn in life are through failures, right? So are your failures a waste of time?
No, they're learning moments.
Exactly. And so in this case, I'm going to just focus on one artist specifically. Elliot Major came in, made a song for him. We from beginning to end, everything was good. He said he was vibing with it, but I knew something was off, and I didn't mention anything at that moment. 2 weeks later, he comes in for a session, and I prefaced the session by telling him, "Look, we're going to listen to the song right now, and we're going to talk about it. But if you want to go a different direction, if you want to start from scratch, you are more than welcome to." We listened to the song, and by simply allowing that space for him, and by simply being attuned to what he was feeling, but maybe he was just too polite to say, or maybe he didn't want to make me feel some type of way, he then opened up and said, "You know what? You're right. I actually don't want to go this direction. It's not that the beat is bad. I don't want to go this direction." I listened to 2 examples of songs he wanted, and we made magic, man.
Oh man,
we made magic. And that's pretty much the gist of this is that not everything is verbal communication. Not everything can be said. Like I said before, language to me isn't adequate. Our spoken language is just not. It's not to par with the complexity of our emotions and what we feel. And on top of that, there's a lot of noise in between sometimes. So if you're a producer out there, if you're somebody who works with artists, allow that space, allow that room for people to turn back on their decisions, because it's those failures, it's those moments where we're unsure and where we do something, where we take that step and then we realize that that's not what we wanted. It's those moments where we learn the most. And if we seize them, and if we don't look at them as something bad, but we look at it as a lesson,
as long as you learned from it,
you're gonna end up in a better place.
Absolutely. I mean, just like this podcast, when we first started,
Oh, so what we're gonna do
Oh,
is I'm going to link the preview of the first instrumental, and then I'm going to link a preview of the second instrumental that I made with Elliot.
excellent.
So I would love to get your feedback, get your comments. Which one you like better? Do you see a difference? Maybe some of you like the first song. Who knows? This is all subjective, but you'll be the first to hear a preview of these songs because they're not released. You can
And copyright free.
and you can only get that here in Disc Dungeon.
That's right. We are so excited to bring you to the forefront some new musicians, new music, new beats, new loves. So, with that being said, make sure you stop by our illustrious to be seen com. That's the number 2 BESCENE on the YouTubes. You can also just type in to be seen com and you'll have the same result. You're going to see a little fun, funky blue and green orb, and that's when you know you're at the right spot. And then when you see the videos with this handsome young man and this tired mug, you'll know that you're at the right spot. So, this brings us to
Totic.
Totic?
Totic. Isn't that the section we're in?
Yeah, that's the section we're in. What would that be called?
Tricks of the keys.
Tricks of the keys. So I really hope that I know I'm very elated to hear that to scream that because I really literally when I heard the new jingle that our buddy in your squad of audios, right? Audios, not Aquios, right?
Definitely not Aquios. It's audio with an S.
Yes.
And for those of you who are asking what that is, that's my production company. I work with 2 other individuals, and we make music.
2 fine gentlemen, one across the pond, one across the highway, right? Because Henry's local.
Yeah, Henry's right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Joel is working on some basically for each segment, for each of the 4 segments we have. Pretty soon you're gonna hear little instrumentals, little fun jingles that go with it, so that this embeds itself a little more into your brain.
We're elevating, motherfuckers.
Yeah, every time.
So this week in Tricks of the Keys, Born in the USA by Bruce Springsteen.
Oh.
Do you know that song?
I do know.
Everybody knows that song.
I mean,
it's the boss. New Jersey's own.
I mean, I definitely don't call him the boss, but
the boss.
But he's big.
Yeah. So this is the 1984 hit by Bruce Springsteen that describes the Vietnam veteran who returns home to desperate circumstances and few options. Listen only to his surging refrain, though. You could make the mistake that for an uncomplicated celebration of patriotism, you wouldn't be the only one. So I'm getting this one from my mom, actually. My mom is a big Bruce Springsteen fan. Who knew? She also loves the funk. She's a Parliament Funkadelic. And I think I'm going to put her on to Kendrick Lamar because I think she would appreciate that. Oh, okay. Can you imagine my mom blasting Kendrick Lamar in the nursing home?
Just give her the non-explicit.
Yeah. No, I'm going to give her the explicit one.
Okay.
Yeah, she can start flipping off people in the nursing home. Anyway, so she brought it up because we were talking about this segment, and she says this is fantastic. It's her favorite segment on the show, and she likes the stuff that we've spoken about previously. And she really appreciated the Madonna one. She actually knew about that, but she hasn't quite figured out how to use the tablet in order to comment and talk to us. So I'm sure she's going to work out on this. And I know you're listening, Mom, so thanks for listening. Anyway, so this, I got the full rundown from NPR, of all places.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. It's a National Public Broadcasting Religion. So this song... This is NPR's anthem series about the song that Americans embrace and the ways that reveal who we are. And all of these songs, Born in the USA, may hold the title for most historically misunderstood. Tricks of the Keys.
Okay.
But as NPR's music director, Lauren Onoki, explained to Morning Edition, it took time for Springsteen himself to figure out just what the song was really meant to say. He did a big benefit in the summer of '81 for Vietnam veterans in Los Angeles and met with the vets. After that, the tour ends. There's a number of places where he's trying to write about the Vietnam veteran experience. So the song grows out of the moment, and then it starts out as something called Vietnam. That early attempt at the concept survives through the rough demo. In Vietnam, a veteran arrives home and tries to get his old job back, but the administrator who greets him can only shrug. Son, understand, if it was up to me, about half of the town's out of work, and there ain't nothing for you here. From the assembly line to the front line, but I guess you didn't hear, you died in Vietnam. The songwriter kept that scene as he set about the writing for a more haunting but still muted version, which is where he first added the Born in the USA refrain. In its story of one American, Anoki says, she hears the story of many. He says, I'm 10 years burning down the road, nowhere to run, ain't nowhere to go. These lines, I think, describe so many of Springsteen's male characters who are lost and can't find a home. So the gist of it, because I'm not going to read the whole article, I definitely recommend you listening to the NPR rundown on this. This is a fantastic piece.
Yeah, we'll link it down below.
Yeah, we'll link it down below. So most people think that this is a true patriotism song. This is something I'm sure our current president will probably play as he tries to get re-election if he doesn't get impeached. But nevertheless, most people just assume this song is, yeah, America, my Ford truck driving down the road, born in the USA, yeah. And in actuality, it's about, yeah, we did some fucked up things. I met a hooker in Vietnam. I got her ass pregnant. I came back. I don't have a job. I lost my job, and there's nothing available. This is actually quite a depressing song, even though it rives people up so much. This is a fool's errand of Tricks of the Keys, because
that's amazing, actually.
Yeah, you think about it, you're like, yeah, fucking A, America. And then no, it's like, fucking A, America. I got nothing to come back to. They gave all my job up to the motherfuckers I just killed over in another country.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's deep.
That's amazing because isn't that recurring
right now?
Not just right now. I'm just talking about that whole I'm just gonna believe what I think this song is about.
Yeah,
and ignore the words, ignore the signs that are showing you something else, because it's probably convenient for you to ignore that message.
Exactly. Yeah, you want to hear what you want to hear. You want to hear born in the USA. Yeah, I was born in the USA. God bless America. I love the USA. Don't get me wrong.
Same here.
I love this place. But it's got its underbelly of madness, and some very messed up things have happened because of the good old president's past. So I really hope that you go out there and you listen to Born in the USA, and you hear the amazing experiences from Vietnam vets that Bruce Springsteen himself had spoken to during his touring sessions. So that's my Tricks of the Keys for this week's Disc Dungeon, episode 7, Cultured AF.
Cultured as fuck. Again, guys, thank you very much. This was episode 7. And as always, I'm Julian Valencia.
I'm Joe Dove.
And
we out this piece.
That's it. I mean, there's no outro. We dropping the mic on this one.
Yeah, we dropping the mic. But make sure you come back next week. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we'd love to have you. It's like, I want to do the Macarena. Yeah.